Well, topics for the upcoming party leader debates have been outlined, and identity and sovereignty is one theme. But some First Nations leaders are saying they'd like to hear more from federal leaders about issues that impact them during this election campaign. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick has been traveling around Ontario for us, and today she's on Manitoulin Island, which has a significant Indigenous population. And she's been talking to some of those leaders who are calling for greater attention be paid to their communities. Megan, what's happening where you are?
Hi, Arthi. Well, we're at a school right now. It's a Kentigawentag school on the island. It's one of several Indigenous post-secondary institutions in Ontario, and they are hosting voting stations this week, much like other campuses across the country. So students and other people in the community have the opportunity to come vote early here today, and some of them are taking that opportunity. And we've been speaking to leaders of the school as well about what they would like to see talked about in this campaign. And we spoke to Beverly Roy. She's president of the school. She's been paying close attention to the campaign, and the school's actually hosting an all candidates meeting tomorrow night. And she says she plans on asking the candidates here in this riding what their commitments are and what their plans are for Indigenous education and for Indigenous rights. She feels like from what she's seen of the campaign so far, there hasn't been enough discussion around that. And we also talked about reconciliation and where she thinks things stand with reconciliation in Canada right now. Here's some of what she told me.
I think we still have a lot of work to do in reconciliation. I think we've made some good steps, but definitely there's a lot more to do. When we talk about federal investments, I think that's definitely where we need to step it up a little bit, and those are the tough questions I'm going to start to ask a little more often and a little more assertively and a little more frequently.
So again, from her perspective, not enough attention paid to these issues yet. She feels like perhaps these issues are being overshadowed because of the trade war with the U.S. right now. And she says that is an important issue, but First Nations people should be part of that discussion and part of that conversation, she says. And we spoke to the dean here at this school as well, and she says what she's looking for in this campaign is a commitment to long-term stable funding for schools like this. She was talking about how important they are to people in these communities so that they can learn, for example, in their own language, that they don't have to go far away for school. So she would like to hear more commitments to long-term funding. We spoke to a couple of students here who do plan on voting, about what issues are important to them on their minds as they prepare to vote. One student who's taking a welding program here saying that mental health services for youth is one of her concerns, and she was saying how important it is to vote, saying if people don't vote, they don't have the right to complain, Arthi.
And Megan, what are you hearing rather from some other leaders that you've been speaking with?
Yeah, yesterday we had the opportunity to interview Chief Omanika, and he was talking about his priority in terms of what he's looking for from the federal government, whoever's leading it, is a commitment for funding for a new long-term care home in his community. They have one, but it's outdated, and he said some of the elders in that home right now are residential school survivors. The prospect of them having to leave their community to go get better care somewhere else is a very emotional one and re-traumatizing for them. We also spoke to Glenn Hare, who is a former regional chief for Ontario and now runs the Ojibwe Cultural Centre here. He also, Arthi, was talking about how more attention needs to be paid to First Nations in this campaign, that they're not part of the conversation and they need to be. He said, for example, talking about housing on the campaign, promises from the leaders on that front. He's saying that is something that their communities have been asking for years. And he had a lot of other things to say as well. We'll talk more about that throughout the day as we report from here.
Thanks for this, Megan. That is the CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick on Manitoulin Island.